Welcome to the new module of the course called Data Analytics with Power BI, and in this module we are going to work on basics of data visualizations. Let's get started with the agenda of this module. So first of all, we'll be talking about the importance of data visualization in BI, that is business intelligence. How important is data visualization in business intelligence? Then we'll talk about the best practices that are being followed in the community. What are the rules? We can say the self-made rules by the community, unwritten rules by the community that are usually followed in terms of data visualization. Then we'll talk about we'll actually go for hands-on data visualization, and we'll go to Power BI, and we'll see how we can visualize the data. The hot word, the buzzword nowadays is ChatGPT. So we'll see how ChatGPT can help us in data visualization. We'll also talk about how can we include or exclude some specific data in data visualization. And finally, we'll wrap up the session by talking about how can we view or export the data. So the first thing is importance. How important is data visualization for business intelligence? So first of all, we come across a lot of data, and that data is usually complex. Whenever you present a data in form of text, in form of a lot of stats, it is going to be complex, that is for sure. So data visualization basically helps us out in simplifying those complex data, those complex structures of data. So this is the most important aspect of data visualization. If you have big data, you have a lot of data, it will be really difficult for us to simplify the data in terms of statistics. So data visualization comes into play, and we can draw beautiful charts in order to translate that complex data into simplified data. Insights discovery is another aspect of data visualization. Sometimes we have some hidden patterns inside the data that are really difficult to discover without data visualization. If let's say if in a column you have 1 million values, it is nearly impossible for us to discover any pattern, to discover any insight by just looking at those 1 million integers or float points. So, but if we can visualize that data, particularly in some bar chart and some graph chart or a column chart, then it will be very easier and very accurate for us to discover the patterns, to discover the outliers, to discover the central tendencies of the data and stuff like that. It also enhances the communication. So basically, if we can visually represent the data, it helps us talking to the stakeholders, talking to the partners very easily. If we want to present, let's say, profit of a company, sales of a company, it will be a little bit boring, and you can say very, very difficult to talk about that data. But if we can visualize that data, we can present very cool kind of charts to the stakeholders, to the company owners, or to the bosses, or whoever is interested, or even to the general public as well. Talking about stats, to motivate you guys a little bit, stats speak louder than words. So according to 3M Corporation, visuals are processed 60,000 times faster than text. That is a huge number. It isn't saying 60,000%, but it is saying 60,000 times faster. That is huge. Then another service has a survey that says 75% of respondents said that the data visualization is essential for making quicker and more effective decisions. So there is a survey in which 75%, that is almost 3/4, people agreed that data visualization is the essential thing for making quick and effective and accurate decisions. Then another report that is published by Zebra Business Intelligence, that says interactive and engaging visualizations increase the time spent on reports and dashboards by 74%. So people are, let's say, you can say 74% more interested into having a look at the data that is visualized rather than statistically represented. A survey by New York Times found that 75% of business executives prefer data visualization over raw data to support decision making. in businesses, decision making is the core aspect. It is the heart of any business. So 75% of executives, and I'm not talking about the general public over here, I'm talking about the business executives. So 75%, three by fourth business executives, they prefer data visualization. They obviously don't want to look into the hairy and very boring kind of a data that will never help never help them in making the right decision. But this data, this visualized data, will help them in making right decisions, and 75% of the business owners or executives, they agree to this point. Not only this, when we will visualize the data down the line in this module, you will really see that, and you will really appreciate that the hairy data that is available in maybe Microsoft Excel, CSV file, SQL database, or whatever data source, when we will visualize that data, it will become more talkative. So what are the design principles for effective data visualizations? How can we make our data visualizations more effective? So there are some rules, some unwritten rules that are usually followed by the community. So first of all, the first rule is the clarity. Our data visualization should be very clear and crisp to the point, and we should not be adding irrelevant information into it. It should be very clear. It should not be deviating from the topic. The clarity should be there. Second point is consistency. We should be consistent in different things. For example, we should be consistent in colors. We should be consistent in fonts and styles and stuff like that. For example, if in the initial visualizations, the colors that we are using are dark color, and then we suddenly shift from dark colors to the light colors or very bright colors that are difficult to handle for the people who are having eyesight issues. So the usage of color should be very consistent. The usage of fonts and the other relevant things should be very consistent. So clarity, consistency, and then relevance. We should be paying a lot of attention on what kind of data visualization are we presenting. What are the audience? Our data visualization should be very much relevant to two things. One is the goal of data visualization. For example, if we are visualizing the data to finding out how much profit this particular business is making, so we should be visualizing the profit related data on the pages or on the charts, right? And secondly, the data should be relevant to the audience as well. For example, if we are giving presentation to the business executives, then obviously the nature of charts would be different. On the other hand, if we are presenting the data to the employees, then the nature of charts would be different. So it should be relevant to the goal of the presentation, and it should be relevant to the audience as well. Then interactivity. So basically interactive elements, in this point we have to add interactive elements to allow users to explore and drill down into the data. What do we mean by that? So basically, if we'll present just static charts that are doing nothing but it's just a picture, that will be kind of a boring thing. But if we can present such a charts that can change themselves according to the conditions. For example, we are listing profit, sales, and different things like that. And in second column we have the geolocations. For example, in New York, this is the profit and sales. In New Jersey, this is the profit and sales. I just want to have a look of the profit and sales in New Jersey. I'll just click on the New Jersey and it will work fine for me. So this is called interactivity. We can interact with the charts. So these are some basic principles for effective data visualizations. Moreover, there are some best practices that are being followed by the community of business intelligence. That says we need to understand the audience. As I discussed just earlier, we should create tailor-made visualizations for the audience. If the audience is some stakeholders, some executives, then the nature would be different. And if the audience is the employees or maybe the students, the nature of the charts, nature of the visualization would obviously change. Then choose the right visualization. For example, if we have a lot of categories in the data and we choose pie chart to represent that data, then each pie would be so small that it will be difficult to read, right? So we will only use pie chart when the categories of data are not a lot. So the rule of thumb says that if the number of categories are more than 7 or 5, then you should not use pie chart. So this is one example. We need to choose the right visualization. If categories are less, we can choose pie chart. If categories are more, we can go for a lot of other types of data visualization, right? So we need to choose the right data visualization tool as well. Avoid misleading visuals. We are, for example, if we are going to show the profit for the company, and we want to give a presentation, or we want to prepare a dashboard for the business executives, in which our goal is to present how we can maximize the profit, and we are only talking about just overall the sales and not specifically we are talking about the profit. That is sort of a misleading visuals. Or if the data is not cleaned, that will also present the misleading visuals. So we need to clean the data, we need to clean the noise from the data, we need to clear the outliers from the data, and we need to create very precise data visualizations for it. Finally, regular updates. So this is something that we don't have to take care of. Why? Because we are going to use Power BI. Basically, what is this regular update? In regular update, let's say we have created some charts, and now some new data comes in. Now we need to update those charts according to the new data that has come in. So basically, this thing has been taken care by the Power BI that we are going to use. So for example, if you have created a dashboard, and now at the back end, data updates itself, or maybe the new data comes in, or maybe some data gets deleted or something like that, the dashboard or the charts that you have created that are based upon the data will update themselves automatically. Isn't it amazing? Yeah, that's amazing. That's we should say thanks to Power BI. So finally, let's get started with hands-on, and let's draw a bar chart, that is also called a column chart. We'll also draw a pie chart, donut chart, funnel chart, ribbon chart, and we'll also customize these charts according to the need. We'll add different colors, we'll add different legends, add different you can say titles on x-axis, y-axis, and we can play with a lot of things around data visualization. So let's get started. So we have opened Power BI over here, and let's just cross this window to get started. So first thing first, we need to get the data set. We need to import the data set. So we'll go over here. It will open up a lot of options for us. So we need to get data from Excel file. So we'll go over here. So this is the folder where the data file is residing. That is the data folder. So I'll go to this superstore.excel file. Whether I can double click this file, or I can single click and then click on this open button. It will take a few seconds to load the data set. It is establishing the connections, and here we go. Okay, so we have this kind of a data set over here. In this file, we have these many sheets, right? This is one file that has many sheets. So for now we are just interested in this orders sheet that is containing different orders from the customers. So we have order ID, order date, shipping mode, customer ID, customer name, customer region, city, state, right? All the information is available over here. Then product ID, category, subcategory, and blah blah blah. Then we have sales, we have quantity in each order, we have discount that is presented, we have profit that came from each order. Now we can click on this transform data button as well in order to transform this data. If we want to add a new column into this data, if we want to delete an existing column, or we want to perform anything in terms of transformation on this data, we can do that by clicking on this transform data button. But for now, we are not going to do that. We are going to assume that this data is perfect, this data is cleaned, and we are good to go with data visualization. But that does not mean that we will not perform on transformation of data. We are going to spend good enough time on transformation of data as well, but in upcoming modules. So for now, I'm just gonna go ahead and click on this load button, and this data will be loaded into this Power BI screen. So it is asking me to keep the previous changes or not. So I'm just gonna discard the previous changes because I don't need that. I don't need those changes. So it is taking a few seconds. Okay, great. So we got the data. Actually, I paused the video because we don't waste our time over there. So we got the data over here. So basically we have these three tabs over here. This is filters tab, as we discussed earlier as well, visualizations tab, and this data tab. So we'll click on this data tab and it will open up all the data that we have loaded. We can load multiple data sets as well. We can load multiple. Look, we had one Excel file, and from that one Excel file we had multiple sheets. So we have just opened one sheet. We can open multiple sheets as well. We can open multiple data sets or multiple you can say Excel files as well. We can open files from multiple sources as well. For example, if we go over here, you can see these are the multiple sources. We can open a file from Excel, and then we can open a text file, CSV file, we can open an SQL file, and we can open different types of files at the same time as well. We can work with different files at the same time as well, right? So if I'll click on this arrow button over here, so I'll click over here, it will open up all the columns that are there in the data set, right? Moreover, if I go over here, I click on this data view, we will be able to visualize the data like this, right? So we have the data over here that says order date, shipping mode, and blah blah blah. One thing that you must have noticed, this order date is something alien, right? Why? Let's click over here, and if we look at the format, the data type, the data type says it is the whole number. No, it is not a whole number. We'll click on this drop down and we'll check this date and time, right? So we'll change its data type, it will reload itself, and here we go. So now this order date has become has adopted itself from the whole number to date time format. Moreover, we don't need time over here, so we'll go over here again and we'll click on just date, so it will become simply date and the time will be ignored. Here we go. So now we have this order date over here. We have ship date. We can also convert this ship date to date as well. Then we have shipping mode, customer ID, and blah blah blah. We have different things over here. Cool. So let's go back, and this is the model view where we can create the relationships between the sheets. Right now we have only one sheet, or you can say we have only one table. If we have multiple tables, we can create the relationships over here. We'll see how we can load multiple tables and how we can create the relationships, right? So we'll go back to the report view. So these are the three tabs. Report view, in which we can create cool stuff of data visualization. This is the data view, in which we can view the data, we can change the data types as well, and this is the model view, in which we can work with the relationships. Okay, so here we have the data, and now since we have updated the data type of order date, it has created a drop down over here. So if I'll click on this drop down, you can see this proper date hierarchy has been opened. So it has automatically detected the year, quarter, year, month, and day from the date format, right? So since we had changed the data type of this column, now it has automatically adapted itself accordingly, right? This is another very useful feature of Power BI. Now if you have a look on this ship date, it has also a date hierarchy, so I'll let you know how to work with it. Okay, so now if you click over here on this visualization tab, you can see these arrows over here. So these arrows can open up or hide the menu for us, right? And then the third tab is, this tab is filters. So let's close these filters for now. We'll talk about these filters later on. So now we have over here a lot of different types of charts. We have over here we have all the columns and stuff. So I think we are good to go. We are good to go. So in next video we'll draw our first column chart and we'll see how it works. Okay, so let's get started with the column chart first. So here if I hover over different charts, you can see the names of the chart as well. So this chart name says clustered column chart, this says clustered bar chart, this says stacked column chart. So we have different types of charts, and even in each category we have subcategories. So if in column charts we have different types of column charts. So I've just single clicked on this clustered column chart and we have something like this over here. So let me just drag and make it a little bit prominent and bigger. Okay, and the moment we clicked on this button, you may have realized we have a new menu over here as well that says what we want to display on x-axis, that says add data fields here. What do we want to display on y-axis? It says add data fields over here, and so on and so forth. We'll talk about each and everything. So on x-axis we want to visualize the date, right? So we'll say order date, and we can whether we can check this box and it will be automatically added over here, or we can drag and drop it over here as well, right? So we can click, don't leave the click button, keep it pressed, and then drag it over here and then leave the click button, right? So now it has all the values, year, quarter, month, and everything over here. Let's remove the quarter, month, and day. Let's just leave year over here on x-axis, right? Okay, so on the y-axis, actually we want to find out the profit with respect to each year, right? Or maybe the sales with respect to each year. So let's talk about sales for now. So I'll simply drag and drop this sales column in y-axis, right? Here we go. Here we go. So now you can see in 2016 the sales were around 0.5 million. 2017 sales were almost similar, and the best sales we had, it was in 2019, right? And you can visualize it like that as well. Moreover, what if we want to visualize the sales data with respect to months, right? So we'll simply go to the order column, order date column, and we'll check this month button, and here we go. So now it is you can say it has divided itself. The bins are divided into the months of each year. So in 2016 you can see the data in each month as well. In 2017 you can see the data in each month as well, and so on and so forth, right? So overall we can say in November 2019 we had the best sales, right? And in February 2016 we had the lowest sales, right? Okay. And if I just remove the year column from here we go. Now overall in the month of January, let's say the January of 2016, 17, 18, and 19 collectively, these were the sales, and so on and so forth, right? Okay, so you can also play around with y-axis as well. You can visualize the in place of sales, you can visualize the profit as well. And over here you can see it says sum of sales. If I click this drop down button, you can see this drop down button over here. If I click here, I can also visualize average, minimum, maximum, and all of these different mathematical measures from here, right? This median, variance, standard deviation, and so on and so forth. Let's say I want to visualize the average. So what is the average in the month of January? So this is going to be the average, right? What is the average in the month of, so on average March is the best month, right? And if we talk about the sum overall, then probably November is the best month, right? So this is how we can work with the column charts, and that is not really it. We have this legend column as well. We can drop a third category over here. For example, we want to say, let's say category, right? So we want to, if we'll drop this category in legends column, here we go. So now you can see, since we have three categories, furniture, office supplies, and technology. So all three, here you can see the legends, right, in the colors, and you can see the data is divided into the categories as well. These three categories we have over here, right? Moreover, right now if I just click another type of chart, it will adapt itself accordingly. For example, if I click over here we go. So now that basically clustered column chart has become stacked column chart, right? So moreover, if I click over here, not click, I just hover over here, it mentions that since we have added three things, month, category, and sum of sales. So you can see the data that is mentioned on this tooltip. This is called tooltip, that says the month is March, the category is technology, and the sum of sales is 97,000 blah 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 blah. right? Moreover, if I want to add more data on this tooltip, I can do it. So here we have a field of tooltip, right? So I also want to mention on the tooltip what is the profit, right? I don't want to show profit over here. I just want to show the profit on the tooltip, right? So I'll just drag and drop the profit on the tooltip, right? Sum of the profit. So if I drag and drop over here, now you can see the order date month, that is September, then category, that is office supplies, then sum of sales, then sum of profit as well, right? I can also do something like this. If I drag and drop profit again in tooltip, so here it is showing the sum, right? You can see that. And in the second, it is again showing the sum, but I'll click on this drag and drop and I'll make it average. So now it will show sum and average both. So if I go over here, let's go over here. So now you can see the March category is furniture, sum of sales is this, sum of profit is this, and average of profit is again mentioned over here. So on the tooltips, you can add as many things as you want, right? We can also add, let's say, different dates over here, the year, the day, or something like that. So it really works. Let's come back to our previous chart that looks like this. Okay, so moreover, we can also work with its appearance as well. For example, here it says month. I want month to look more prominent. Here it says sum of sales. I want sum of sales to look more prominent, or I want to change the color, or I want to do something like that. So by default, you can see this is selected that says add data to your visualization. In this tab, we can add data. So if I hover over this tab that says format your visuals. So if I want to format something, I'll click over here. Now you can see that the data has changed. So I have these drop downs over here that says x-axis, y-axis, legend. So I can play around with everything that I want to work with. For example, let's start with talking about on or off. So if I just off it, you can see we don't have any x-axis value over here. If I turn on, the x-axis values are appearing. Same goes for y-axis. Now y-axis have gone, and now y-axis have come back. So we can work with these buttons as well. So let's get started with x-axis. So if we talk about x-axis, I'll drag and drop it over here, and I want to change its font, right? So this is sort of you can say assignment for you guys. What I want is I want the values on x-axis to be a bit larger and bold, and their color should be, let's say, dark blue, right? This is something that I want you guys to do. So you can just have a look at this menu, and I hope you guys can do it. Let's solve the assignment together. If you are able to solve it, awesome. If not, let's solve it together. So we are in this x-axis drop down. If I click over here, it opens up this new menu. So I want to largen the font of the values that are on x-axis. So I'll simply click over here, and you can see as I'm clicking, the font is becoming larger and larger and larger. So I think this much font is good enough for me. Then I'll click on bold. So you can see the font has become bold. I can underline it as well, but I don't need that. I can change its color. I need dark blue color. So here we go. But this does not look nice. So let's go with another one. Maybe this one does not look nice either, but let's forget it. Okay. Moreover, we can also talk about the max area, max height. We can increase it and decrease it as well if needed, but it is not implementing so far because it has nothing to do with this thing. Okay, so now let's work on y-axis, and on y-axis we have these different things opened up over here. We want to talk about the values on y-axis. So these are the values on y-axis. Let's increase their fonts, right? They are increasing. Let's make them bold, change their color. Let's make them maroon as well, and that's it, right? We can also change their units from here to, right now they are in thousands. We can make them in millions as well. You can see this is 0.08 millions. We can make them in billion, trillion, or whatever. So let's make it auto for now, right? That works better. Moreover, if I close this values, let me open this title thing. So on y-axis, we have title that says sum of sales, right? So we can also by default it says sum of sales. We can also edit this title as well. So let me make it sum of my sales. Okay, here we go, it has updated itself. And then we can also change that font of the title as well. So let's say I want the font to be in this Comic Sans font. Here we go. And so on and so forth. I can make it bold, I can increase its size, and I can play around with it. I can also do the same thing with this month as well, right? So if I go back, if I close this y-axis thing, I open this x-axis thing, drag down. This is the title thing, right? So I can change the title that says month. I can make it maybe M-O-N-T, months with the S, right? And then we can change again its font as well, increase it, bold, change its color if you want, and so on and so forth, right? So you can almost change each and everything that you can see over here, that you can have a look over here, right? Then let's talk about the legend. You know what is legend? This is the legend, right? The categories that are mentioned over here. So first of all it says where do you want me to show the legend. So I want you to show at top left or maybe top center. Now you can see it is in center. And we have a lot of options. We can show it anywhere, almost anywhere we want. Let's open up the text, right? That text that is available over here. So we can increase its size if we want, right? And we can bold it if we want. We can change its color, but I think that is not required for now. Then we'll open up this title thing, right? That says category, right? So we can also make it more specific. Let's say categories of let's say sales, right? Here we go. So now it is more specified. Cool. Okay, we can also add zoom slider as well. So if I click it on, and this slider will be added over here. Now if I'll drag it, it will present more zoomed version of the chart, right? I can slide it as well, but let's make it default, and also let's remove it. We don't need it for now. We can also add data labels as well. If I make it on, you can see the labels are added on top of each bar. And if I open up this data label thing, we have different settings over here. Where, what orientation do we want? We want horizontal or we want vertical like this. I think horizontal. If we have more text to show, then I think vertical would be better. But for now, horizontal is better. We can change its position as well, inside at end. So now it is somewhere over here. But since they are black, that is why they are not visible. We can change its color as well. So let's make it auto for now. That is at the top of bar. If we talk about the values of values of this data labels, we can change its color, right, as I mentioned. So let's make it white from here. They are disappeared. And now from position, let's make it inside end. Okay, just a second. Where is it? So inside, I think we need to change its font as well. Okay, so the font of this thing is being changed. Okay, so for now let's make it auto, and let's change its color as well. Okay, so in let's say in 1 or 2 more videos, I'll let you know how to change its position as well. Right now it is linked with these bar charts, but I'll let you know how to change these positions as well. Okay, so we can also add overflow text as well, but that is not required for now. Here you can see, since this text was overflowing, that is why it is not being shown. But if we'll close it, it is gone, right? So we can also check out with the background as well. We can add different backgrounds on these values as well. I mean, you can add as many conditions as you want. So this is something that I want you guys to explore at your end. And then after visuals, we have a general setting as well. In this general setting, if you want to set up the title of this overall chart, we can set it out from here, right? That says sum of the sales and average and blah blah blah. We can change it from here. Let's say I just want to make it sum of the sales. I can remove the rest of the title, right? I can change its position as well. I can change its heading as well, its size overall. Let's make it more bigger, right? Let's make it bold, and so on and so forth. We can also add a background color as well. Let's make it blue. Here we go. So it is not looking at all. I mean, it is not visible at all. Here we go. Now it looks better. Let's make it in the center. I mean that these are, you can say, so many options that we cannot even discover in this course. We have a subtitle option as well. If we'll turn it on, you can add a subtitle here, but let's turn it off. We don't need that. We have a divider, we have a spacing, everything. I mean, if you open up this divider, everything is not accessible. You have to turn it on first, and now everything is accessible. So let's turn it off back again. Okay, so this is about title. We have effects, we have tooltips. Also, the tooltips that we were talking about. If I hover over here, you can see this thing, right? This the summary in statistics. We can also work with the options of tooltips as well. So the background of tooltip is by default black. We can make it maybe blue, right? So now here we go, right? But that does not look nice. I think black was better. So let's go with black. We can also work with transparency as well. So here we go. This is now less this is actually more transparent now. Let's make it 5% as it was. Yeah, better. Also, we can talk about text that is being shown over there, right? So we can also add some description and stuff like that. So these are the options: tooltip options, header icon options. I mean, a lot of options are available over here. So I'm gonna leave these things up to you guys to discover these things at your end, right? So I have almost talked about all the options. So the small options that are left, I'm gonna leave those options to you. So I'm gonna come back to this visualization stuff. So this is all about the bar charts. We can also change, as I said, its settings, and here you can see the numbers have come inside. Here the numbers are in millions. Now I hope you guys know how to change the scale of these numbers, right? You want to change it in thousands, you can do that. Right now it was in auto, that is why it has changed itself automatically. So that's about it for the column chart or bar chart. And in next video we'll talk about the pie chart. Let's open up a new sheet by clicking this new page button over here in the bottom. So I'll click over here and it has opened up a new page for me. But I'll go back to the previous page. I'll double click over here and I can rename this page. So I'll say column chart, right? And I'll come to this new page that I have created and let me call it pie chart, right? Because here I want to create the pie chart. So from this visualization menu, I can see this pie chart over here. We can also, if I hover over here, you can also see the title of this chart. So I'll click over here that says pie chart. So I'll simply drag it to make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so here we have the options of legend, values, details, tooltips, and a lot of other options. Again, we can go to format your visuals in this chart. Right now we have no data added, so this menu is empty. Okay, so for the values, I want to visualize the profit. So I'll say the profit would be in the values, right? And then for the legends, I would say regions, right? So I want to visualize the profit with respect to regions. So here you can see these are the regions that I have: west, east, south, and central, right? And these are the values that I have. If I just hover over any value, so you can say you can see the region is west, the sum of profit is 108,000 something. That is overall 37.86%, right? It is mentioned over here as well. So this is how we can work with pie chart. Moreover, we can also moreover we can also play around with the colors of each region as well. That is something we'll talk about later on. So right now, if I want to, as usual, visualize something else on the tooltip, I can drag and drop that thing over here. Let's say I want to visualize the sales as well, so I can drag and drop it over here. Moreover, if I want to draw this chart by default it is drawn with respect to sum of profit in each region. If I want to draw it with respect to, let's say, average of profit in each region, I can change the option from here. I can also select the count option, median, variance, and blah blah blah. We have different options from here. Okay, so since in tooltip now sum of sales is also dropped, so you can see the sum of sales is also available on tooltip. We can check it out for other regions as well. Okay, so now what is this details? So let's say in details I will drop the category column, right? So I'll just drag and drop over here, so you can see the white lines have been created, right? So these colorful lines, these colorful pies are representing the region, and the white lines are representing each category, right? So in each region, we have total 3 categories, right? So in each region, let's say I'll go over here, and in the tooltip you can see the region is west, the category is technology, right? If I'll come over here, the category has changed, region is same, that is west, and category is office supplies. And for office supplies particularly, the sum of profit is 52,000 blah blah blah, and for particularly technology the sum of profit is 44,000 blah blah blah. And if I go over here, that so we can visually see that in west region the minimum sales are happening for the category furniture, right? And if I'll come over here, that is the central region, the maximum sales are happening for technology, and then the office supplies, and there are no sales of furniture over here in central region, and so on and so forth, right? So this is how we can work with the details. If we want to add, we can also add details of cities as well, but that will be messed up. Let me remove details from here, and let me also show you guys one more thing. So if I remove the legend of regions from here, and I drag and drop the city over here, we go. Now we have a lot of cities over here. You can see a lot of cities, a lot of different cities. So visualizing, a lot of categories is not a good idea. Although we can get clear representation of New York and LA, and also the Seattle, but not all of the cities are representing in good manners, right? So if we have a lot of categories, statistically speaking, if we have more than 5 or 7 categories, then pie chart is not a good option, right? So we'll go back to the previous choice, that was region, since we have only 4 regions, and we can represent 4 regions in very good manners over here. Again, going to the formatting options, we can format the legend. We can let's format the legend. So let's bold the legend and increase its size, right? And we can work around with the text as well. We can change the color of text as well. Let's make it let's say make it what is this color? I don't know, maybe maroon or something. Yeah, so we can also work with slices as well. Here you can see the west is shown in blue, in light blue. We can make it, let's say, what do you want? Let's make it yellow, right? Here we go. So now the color of west is changed. So this is how we can change the color of each and every category that is mentioned over here by using this colors option under slice option. We can also change the details. So for example, these details are showing outside. We can also show them inside like this as well, but I think outside they were looking better. And moreover, we can also work with the rotation as well, right? If I increase it, you can see the chart is rotating, but I think it was fine at 0 degree. We can also go to the general settings. Here we can work with the title, we can work with the effects, header icon, tooltip, and all those options that we had discovered previously as well. We can also work with the size as well, right? So this is all about the pie chart. And if I come back to this visualization charts, we have another chart called donut chart, right? That is just adjacent to pie chart. It is also quite similar to the pie chart. If I just click over here, you can see it is, the only difference is it is vacant from the middle. The rest of the thing is exactly same. If you look at the options that are available for the donut chart, that are also similar to the pie chart. So this is how we can work with pie chart or the donut chart. Alright, let's create a new page over here, and now it's time to discover the funnel chart, right? So we'll just click over here on the funnel chart, and it is available for us. Let's just make it a little bit bigger, and let's change the name of this page as funnel chart, right? Great. Okay, so now in funnel chart here we can see we can only drop down. Let me just click over here. Okay, so when I click on the chart, it will open up all the categories that we want to drop over here. So we have category, we have values, and tooltips, and blah blah blah. So for category, how do I want to categorize the visualization that I want to display over here? So the categories, let's say I want to visualize my information based upon again the regions, right? So I'll drop the regions in the category, and I want to, in values, I want to select sales. So I want to check out in which region my sales are the highest and in which region my sales are lowest. So it says that in west my sales are the highest and in south the sales are the lowest. So what if I want to check these things? I mean, obviously we did that in pie chart as well. Over here we did almost the same thing, but the restriction was in the pie chart or the donor chart we cannot have more categories. We can surely have more categories, but that will mess up the whole chart. So in funnel chart we can have more categories. So here we have 4 categories only in this region. So let's use state rather than region as the category. Let me remove the region from the category and drop state over here. So here we go. So now you can see in California state we have the maximum sales, and if I hover over here you can see the actual sales as well. The sum of sales in California is 457,000 something, right? And so on and so forth. At the end we have this North Dakota region, or you can say state, where we have the minimum sales. We can also check it out with respect to the profit as well. So if I delete sales and I add profit, it will let us know which state is performing best in terms of profit. So California is performing best in terms of profit, and Texas is performing worse. Actually it is going negative in terms of profit, so it is losing a lot of money. So this is how we can visualize the data if we have more categories. And again, as usual, you can add tooltips over here. You can go to format visuals and you can change different colors. Let's say by default it was blue. Let me make it maroon. I don't know why I keep adding this maroon color over here. That is not obviously my favorite one. Let's make it purple. Okay, so we can change its color, we can change the data labels, category labels, and so on and so forth. So we can check it out in categories as well, and so on and so forth. So you can play around with the visuals and the chart itself, right? So this is the funnel chart. Now let's add another chart, which is this gauge chart, right? So this is a very basic level chart. If you want to show some, let's say, static data, it is just like a speedometer. So let me also write gauge chart, right? So if I click over here, it says it needs a value. The minimum value from where you want to start it, that is the minimum value. This is the maximum value where you want to end it. The target value where you want to target your actual data, right? And then we have tooltip, and then we have drill through, and so on and so forth. So basically the minimum value by default is 0, so we are not going to work around with that. The maximum value, let's drop sales into it. So basically our goal is to visualize the amount of profit with respect to sales, right? So I'll drop sales in maximum, right? So overall we have the maximum value of 2 million, and I'll drop profit in the target value, right? So here it shows the target over here, and I can do the same thing. I can drop the profit in the value as well, right? So here we go. So this is the overall sum of profit, and I can also have, you can say at the target I can make it, let's say, average, right? So since the average is 28, that is why it is almost here on the 0. And in the target, let's say we can add the discount as well. So it will also show us, this is the overall sales, this much is the profit that we are generating, and this much is the discount that we are giving, right? So this is how we can draw the gauge chart. It is just like a speedometer. And again, you can go to its format, you can change the colors, you can change the gauge axis, and so on and so forth, right? So this is again sort of a cool chart that you can work with. If you want to add more values into it, you can, by adding the minimum value, by adding the overall value, the target value, and so on and so forth. So yeah, in next video we are going to talk about the ribbon chart. All right, so here we are on the new page and we need this ribbon chart right from here. So I'll click over here. It will, as usual, create this ribbon chart for us. Let me make it a little bit larger. Okay, so we have the values for x-axis, y-axis, and legend, and then small multiples, right? So first drop on x-axis. Let's say on x-axis I need the years, right? So I just clicked the year from the date hierarchy. So now we have years on x-axis. On y-axis, let's say I need the data of all the sales, right? It would look something like this. And for the legend, I need, let's say, the data with respect to regions, right? Okay, so here we go. So this is how our ribbon chart looks like. So these are sort of the ribbons. So here you can see the legends. Let's say purple color is representing central, dark blue is representing east, and so on and so forth. So it is showing that in, let's say, 2016, central region was producing the minimum sales. But in the mid of 2016, so it is a proper storytelling thing, right? In the mid of 2016, what happened? The central region's sales increased, but the south region sales decreased, and same happened to the east and west regions as well. And then again, the thickness of each line or each ribbon is representing the amount of increase or decrease at that particular time. So overall, you can say the west region had the maximum sales in the beginning and in the ending as well. There was a time in 2017, sorry, where the sales for the west region were not the best, right? So this is how we can represent the sales over here. Moreover, if we want to add, if we want to create multiple ribbon charts, then we can make use of this small multiples. So let's say we have this category column. We'll select this category column and drop it in smaller multiples. So here we had 3 categories: office, supplies, furniture, and technology. So it has created 3 charts for us. For furniture, west region has always dominated. For technology, in the beginning, south region was dominated, and then there was a bad patch for the south region, and at the end of 2019 it started to getting up. So this is how we can create the story. You can say we can narrate a story, a proper story of the data. Let me just drop these small multiples from here, and instead of region, let me select states for now. Okay, so if I'll select states, now you can see I have a lot of states. So these kind of ribbons are created. So since we have more categories over here in the legends, that is why it is not very, the tooltip is performing well. It is also showing us the ranks as well, but overall colors are not that much visible. So that is why it is advisable, if you have more categories, then you should go for the funnel chart like this. But if you have less categories, then this ribbon chart or pie chart is the best option. So let me go back over here. Let me select this chart, and from legend, let me delete say state and drop region back over here, right? So now I have, and again, you can go to format your visuals. We can check out for changing the colors, for changing the titles, for changing the fonts, changing the sizes. You can do anything you want. One more thing, we should also change the name as well. So basically this is a ribbon chart. Okay, quickly let's cover one more chart that is a very simple chart called card chart, right? So this is sort of a sticky note, you can say. We can drop any statistical value over here. So you can see it has only one field to work with. So if I'll drop, let's say, profit over here, it will create a chart for me, right? And that's it. I can change its color, its other appearance stuff from here, but this is all the information that that is shown in this card. This is called simply card. We have a multi-line card as well that you can explore at your end. Here you can see this multi-line card, multi-row card, sorry. And if I replace this profit with sales, you can see sales are being represented over here. This if we simply look at this chart or this card, it does not look like it is very useful. But when we create dashboards, when we combine a lot of different charts together, then these kind of cards play a vital role over there. So I just wanted you guys to have a look into it. So this is basically our card chart, right? Okay, so these are the charts that we have created so far, right? and we can we can navigate from this bottom menu to any of the charts that we have created on different pages. Okay, so now here is the use case. Let me open this column chart. What if this is, a whole bunch of data visualization? I don't want all this data. I just want to have a look at the office supplies in December. That is, so since this is the month of December and dark blue is the office supplies, so I'll simply click over here. Okay, I just clicked over here, and you can see this is selected, and all of the rest of the data is fainted a little bit. And apart from that, I also want to select the technology from the month of March. So I'll click, I'll hit Control button, and I'll click over here to select both of these options, right? Apart from that, I also want to check out the furniture for the month of September. I'll check out this. I also want to check out furniture for the month of May, and I also want to check out technology from the month of May. So this is how I can select multiple options from this data visualization chart, and then to the any option, I'll bring my mouse to the any selected option. I'll do a right click over here, right? And then we have a lot of options over here. It says we are interested in include and exclude option. They both are the opposite to each other. So, if I'll say include, I'll click on include option. Here we go. Only those charts are shown now that we included, that we selected in include option, and you can further go and you can further include or exclude the charts, right? So if I want to go back, there are different options. I can go back by just clicking, by hitting Control Z button, and my original chart is back. Now let me select, let's say, these three charts that are from the month of September, and this is from the month of August as well. Remember this. Now again, I'm gonna hit right click, and I'll say exclude. Now exclude is opposite to include. It will exclude these selected charts, and it will show all the rest of the charts, right? I'll exclude it, and here we go. September is gone, and one category from August is also gone, right? And whenever you want to deselect everything, just click anywhere in the white area over here. So I'll hit Control Z to get my previous options back. So this is how we can include or exclude the data from the perspective of data visualization. Moreover, you might be wondering that we have discovered this data tab, this visualization tab, but we have not discovered this filters tab. Let me close this visualization and data tab, and let me open this filters tab. All the options that we have available over here, that will be displayed over here. For example, we have displayed the average of profit. You might be wondering that there is no average of profit over here, but if you hover over here, we have in tooltip the average of profit, right? So we have the average of profit. We have all the we have categories. Since all the categories are shown, that is why it is saying filter. Category is all, right? Month is all. Sum of profit is all. Sum of sale is all. So on and so forth. What if for the categories, I don't want to display technology category. I want to display furniture and office supplies only, right? So I'll go to this drop down. It will open up the whole menu for me. So I don't want to display technology, so I'll not select technology. I'll only select office supplies, and you can see on the runtime it is changing, and I'll select the furniture as well. Here we go. So this is how our data would look like without technology category. So I'll deselect it, and I'll collapse the menu, and then I'll go to the month option. What if I don't want to have a look in first 3 months, right? So January, February, March, I don't want to have a look on these 3 months. So I'll select all, and I'll simply deselect January, February, and March, and any other month that I don't want to have a look onto it, right? So this is how we can create the filters. We can make use of the filters. And what if we want to remove the filter? Since we have a filter on category, we can simply come over here, this erase button that says clear filter. If I'll click over here, here we go, the filter is gone, right? So this is how we can work with, and we already have a filter on this month table, right? So let me add another filter, and let me deselect all the months. Let me just have a look on the data of January. Let's add February as well, only these 2 months, right? And that's it. So this is the data that I have. Now, so far we have done 3 things: include, exclude, and filter. Now what if I want to have a look on the statistics of the data that is being represented in front of me right now. What do I mean by that? Here, if I go to the data view, I have all the data over here, right? Now you can see all the data over here. Now, I just want to have a look onto the data that is here in this visualization. So I'll simply right click over here and I'll say show as table, right? I'll click over here and it will show me these statistics like this. But if I want to have a complete look onto the data, then I'll select the options that I need and then I'll right click over here and I'll say show data point as table, right? I'll click over here and it will open up. Here we go, all the data. So now focus on this month. Since we have a filter on month, on month column, we have selected only January and February. So if I'll scroll down, you will not see any other month. You will only see January and February, right? Cool. Okay, and also, yeah, I think we had no filter on categories. All the categories are being displayed over here, right? Okay, so if I'll by clicking over here, I can go back to report. But one more thing, if I'll come over here to these three dots that says more options, I'll click over here. I can also export the data, right? I'll click to export data, and here I can write the name of the data file that I want to write. Let's say data.csv or maybe customized data.csv or whatever, and I can simply save it, right? So I don't want to save it for now, so I'll cancel it out. So I'll go back to the report, and this is my data. And if I'll go to the filters, I want to remove all the filters. Yeah, this is my original data, and this is, I mean, you cannot only do this to column charts, you can do it to almost every chart. Let's say I go to ribbon, I can select values from here as well. Let's say click over here, control button, click over here, and then right click, and then include or exclude or show as table or show as data point or whatever, right? So this is how you can work with charts, with data visualization, and alongside with data visualization, if you want to have a look onto the statistics of data, you want to export some customized data based upon the filters, this is how you can do that. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the customization of the theme over here. So we have a theme of different colors that is visible over here for different type of charts, right? What if we want to change overall the theme? We know how we can change each and every color, but what if we want to change the overall the theme? So we'll go over here in view tab, and these are different themes that are available for us. If I click over here, you can see the theme has changed. So I can select any theme from here, right? And if you'll go to rest of the bars, the theme is automatically changed. Okay. Moreover, what if in this particular theme, I don't like some particular color, maybe I don't like this dark greenish color, right? And if you'll click on this drop down, you'll have a look on more themes as well, right? Some themes with the background as well. Okay, so what if I want to replace this dark green color with some other color, and rest of the theme should remain the same? So I'll click on this drop down. I'll go over here, customize current theme option, and here I have different options. So on left hand side, I have name and color, then text, then visuals, then page, filter pan. I have a lot of options, right, with which I can work. So for this particular theme that I am customizing, I don't like this color, right? That is color 3. So I'll click over here and I can change this color to any other color. For example, I want to change this color, replace with this color with maybe this. I can also change the intensity of the color from here as well. You can also add the hexa value over here of the of any color. If you have any hexa value of color directly, you can add it over here. If you have RGB value of any color, you can directly add those values over here. So or otherwise you can simply drag and drop it. You can use this slider to choose any other value, right? So I'm gonna go with this dark red, or you can say maroon color. So I'll click on apply and again apply, and here we go. You can see that dark green color is now replaced with this dark maroon color. Moreover, if I'll go back to customize current theme, I can play around with the colors. I can also play around with the text as well. All the text that is visible in this theme, I can change its font. Let's say I'll make it Times New Roman, right? I can change the font size, the font color, whatever I want to change. I want to change different settings for the title as well. I can also change the visuals. For example, from here, background. Right now background is white. I can change it from let's change it from white to a little bit orangish. Let's make it this one, right? I'll apply this. And you can also work with the transparency as well. Right now transparency is absolutely 0. Let's make it 18% and apply this. So here we go, right? So transparency means that this background color would be visible through the chart. So right, we only made the transparency equals to 18%. You can, if you'll make it 100%, then it will be strongest. I think 18% is fine, but the background color looks very bad. So I mean, this is how you can change the background color. And if I'll go back to customize current theme, I'll go to visuals, color, and I'll go to white again. Yeah, this one is better. And transparency should be 0. I can also change the values on tooltip as well. For example, the label of text on the tooltip should be this one, the background color should be this one. I mean, you can play around with these options. So this is how you can create a customized theme. You can change each and everything in one theme, right? So that would be one theme, right? You can create as many themes as you want. You can customize as many themes as you want over here. And later on, for example, if for a particular use case you need dark colors, so you may use a theme that you have created for the dark colors, right? For a particular use case, maybe you need a theme with this kind of light colors, or maybe very shocking colors. So you can use this kind of a theme as well. Nowadays, this ChatGPT is really a buzzword. So let's see if ChatGPT can help us in creating some new themes or not, right? And moreover, I do not have a paid account. No, I mean, a lot of people do not have paid accounts, so you don't have to have a paid account in order to work with the basic functionality of ChatGPT, right? So this tutorial will help you out in getting to know what is overall ChatGPT, and also how we can use ChatGPT for our Power BI problems. Okay, so first of all, you can say ChatGPT is just like another human being that is responding to you. Whatever message you will write over here, or whatever the task you will write over here, ChatGPT will solve that particular task for you, right? So right now, my task is I want to create another theme, right? I am not satisfied with any theme that is available over here. Yeah, that is an option that there is an option that I can customize themes according to my need, but that will take a lot of time, right? For example, I don't want a theme with multiple colors. I want a theme that has a basic color of green, or maybe red, or maybe blue, and all rest of the colors should be very close to this particular red, green, or blue color, right? So I don't want to spend a lot of time on customizing the themes. So I'll simply go out over here and I'll say, hey, Mr. ChatGPT, I want to create a theme for Power BI, and here I'll mention all the points that I need. For example, theme colors should be let's say green or very close to green, right? Moreover, maybe you can write the text size should be 15 or something. I mean, you can write a lot of options like this. Right now, let's just go with the colors, right? So I'll click on this green button, and it will create some JSON file for us. Here it is creating some definition for us. Definition of the JSON file for us, and here we have the JSON file that says the name of the theme is going to be green theme, and the colors, here we have the colors in hexa values, then we have a background, a foreground, and so on and so forth, right? So but this is a JSON file, right? How we can use this JSON file as a theme? So I'll simply go over here, I'll say copy code, I'll click over here. Now the code is copied, and I'll come to my folder. Here I'll create a simple text file that is here, text document, right? And I'll say, what is going to be the name of this file? Let's say it is theme, or let's call it my theme, right? And its extension has to be JSON, right? JSON. And I'll open it up. It will ask me to change the extension. I'll say yes, change it, and it will be opened up. No, okay, so I'll double click on it to open it up, and here I'll paste the code that we have copied, right? And I'll save it, Control S. Moreover, you'll have to go to the file option, and you'll have to say save as, to make sure this here save as type, it should be all types, right? It shouldn't be JSON or .txt, it should be all types. And here you should you must have the extension of JSON over here, .json. Save it. Okay, great. Now come back to our Power BI and come over here to this drop down, drag down. Here we have an option of browse for themes, right? I'll click over here, and I'll select this, and I can open it from here, or I can double click over here. So yeah, here we go. So it says your custom report theme is ready to use. I'll say got it. Although it looks really bad to me, but I'll go to different charts. You can see it has obeyed my commands at least, right? So, and moreover, I can also give commands like, maybe, so let me just copy this. Maybe I can give commands like theme colors should be dark. Okay, so I'm not exactly mentioning what color it should be, so it will automatically pick up the dark colors. And then I can say maybe the label text colors should be light colors, something like that, right? And I'll simply click on this green button, and it will generate a theme according to these instructions, right? So this is how you can make use of ChatGPT in order to create different themes according to your need. You can customize these themes according to your tailor-made solutions.